TV soap news and spoilers say that in the glittering underbelly of Fairmont Crest, where the neon lights of the casino district flicker like the dying embers of 1,000 broken dreams, a storm is brewing, one that threatens to shatter the fragile alliances and buried secrets that have defined this sprawling soap opera universe. Beyond the Gates, the long-running saga of love, betrayal, and unyielding ambition, has always thrived on its ability to pull the rug out from under its devoted fans. From whispered affairs in moonlit gardens to corporate coups sealed with a single, venomous glance, the show has mastered the art of keeping us on the edge of our seats. But today, as the current date of September 21, 2025, marks yet another pivotal turn in the narrative calendar, whispers of an impending death ripple through the fan forums and late-night watch parties like a chill wind off the Crest's infamous fog-shrouded bay. Who will fall? Whose blood will stain the marble floors of the Grand Royale Casino? If the tea leaves are to be believed, and in Fairmont Crest, they're often more reliable than a prenup, the answer points to none other than Joey Armstrong, the silver-tongued devil himself. Buckle up, dear readers, because we're diving deep into this tantalizing theory, unpacking the layers of scandal, heartbreak, and high-stakes drama that could culminate in Joey's shocking exit. Spoiler alert, this isn't just a plot twist, it's a seismic event that could redefine the entire Beyond the Gates legacy. To truly grasp the magnitude of Joey Armstrong's potential downfall, we must first rewind the clock, not to the hazy origins of the show, but to the moment this enigmatic antihero slithered into our living rooms like a serpent in the Garden of Eden. Joey isn't your garden-variety villain, he's a masterpiece of moral ambiguity, a man whose charm is as lethal as the arsenic-laced cocktails he once served to a rival at his own blackjack table. As the undisputed kingpin of the Grand Royale Casino, Joey has built an empire on the backs of broken gamblers, illicit deals in smoke-filled backrooms, and a network of loyalties as tangled as the roots of the ancient oaks lining Fairmont's elite estates. Picture him, tall and impeccably tailored in midnight black suits that hug his athletic frame like a second skin, his salt and pepper hair slicked back with the precision of a man who knows every angle of the game. His eyes, those piercing, ice-blue orbs, hold the promise of fortune or ruin, depending on which way the dice fall. Joey Armstrong doesn't just own a casino, he is the house, and the house always wins. Or so he thought. Joey's scandals are the stuff of tabloid legend, the kind that keep Fairmont Crest Gazette reporters in overtime and fans glued to their screens with a mix of horror and fascination. Remember the blackjack bloodbath of season 12? It was Joey who orchestrated the frame job on Councilman Harlan Thorpe, planting evidence of embezzlement that led to the poor sap's public humiliation and subsequent suicide by defenestration from the casino's penthouse suite. Thorpe's widow still sends anonymous death threats to the Beyond the Gates production offices, or so the rumors go. Then there was the affair with heiress Lydia Voss, whose family's diamond empire crumbled overnight after Joey accidentally leaked compromising photos to the press, photos that conveniently omitted his own shadowy silhouette in the background. And who could forget the human trafficking ring exposed last season, where Joey's name hovered like a ghost in the periphery, never quite pinned down but always implicated. These aren't mere plot points, they're the scaffolding of Joey's character, each scandal a brick in the fortress of his infamy. Yet, for all his sins, Joey possesses an undeniable magnetism, a roguish wit that disarms even as it destroys. He's the villain you love to hate, the one who delivers monologues with the gravitas of a Shakespearean soliloquy while shuffling a deck of cards. In Beyond the Gates, where heroes are as flawed as the villains, Joey stands as a recurring colossus, striding through episodes like a force of nature, his every appearance a reminder that in Fairmont Crest, redemption is just another gamble. But empires, as history teaches us, from Rome's fall to the crumbling dynasties of old Hollywood, have a nasty habit of toppling under their own weight. Enter Doug Hargrove, the brooding everyman turned avenging angel, whose personal vendetta against Joey has simmered like a pot left too long on the boil. Doug isn't the caped crusader type, he's a former security consultant with calloused hands and a heart scarred by loss. His wife, Elena, vanished 5 years ago in a web of Joey's dealings, a disappearance officially ruled an accident but whispered to be a silencing orchestrated by the casino lord himself. Doug's plan isn't born of comic book heroism, it's forged in the quiet rage of a man who's spent sleepless nights poring over encrypted ledgers and grainy surveillance footage. We've seen the breadcrumbs scattered across recent episodes: Doug's clandestine meetings with disgruntled ex-employees of the Grand Royale, the anonymous tips he's funneled to the Fairmont PD, and that electrifying confrontation in episode 7 of the current arc, where he cornered Joey in the casino's velvet-draped VIP lounge. "You've taken everything from me," Doug growled, his voice a low thunder that cut through the clink of slot machines like a knife. Joey, ever the showman, merely smirked, swirling his scotch as if it were the blood of his enemies. "Everything? Darling, I've only just begun." That exchange wasn't filler, it was a declaration of war, a chess move in a game where the board is littered with bodies. Now, imagine the theater of it all. The dramatic crescendo that could end with Joey's curtain call. Beyond the Gates has mastered the art of the slow burn reveal, building tension like a maestro conducting a symphony of suspense. Picture the scene: a stormy night in Fairmont Crest, the kind where lightning cracks the sky like God's own whip, illuminating the casino's gilded facade in stark, unforgiving white. Joey, sensing the noose tightening, hosts a gala to rival the excesses of Gatsby himself: crystal chandeliers dripping like frozen tears, champagne fountains bubbling with secrets, and a jazz quartet whose melancholy notes underscore the fragility of it all. Doug infiltrates the event not as a guest, but as the shadow at the edge of the frame, his face half hidden beneath a waiter's tray laden with poisoned flutes. The plan unfolds in meticulous, heart-pounding detail: a tampered brake line on Joey's vintage Maserati, rigged to fail on the serpentine coastal road that hugs the cliffs overlooking the churning Pacific. Or perhaps it's more intimate: a staged duel in the casino's private poker room, where accusations fly like bullets, culminating in a fatal accident, with a letter opener glinting under the green-shaded lamps. The writers, those cunning architects of our emotional turmoil, would milk every beat: Joey's final, defiant laugh echoing through the halls as paramedics swarm, the slow-motion close-up of his hand clutching a faded photograph of a long-lost love, humanizing the monster in his dying breath. Shocking? Utterly. Because Joey isn't just a character, he's the gravitational center around which Fairmont Crest's orbit spins. Killing him off at Doug's hands wouldn't be murder, it would be matricide, a slaying of the show's dark heart. And oh, the collateral damage. No discussion of Joey's potential demise would be complete without addressing the human wreckage in its wake, chief among them Vanessa Langford, the luminous ingenue whose arc has evolved from wide-eyed debutante to a woman teetering on the precipice of obsession. Vanessa's love for Joey isn't the fairy tale variety peddled in rom-coms, it's a tempestuous inferno, born in the ashes of her own shattered illusions. Their romance ignited 2 seasons ago, during a blackout at the Grand Royale that trapped them in the wine cellar, a confined space thick with the scent of aged Bordeaux and unspoken desires. What began as a flirtation amid flickering emergency lights blossomed into stolen weekends in hidden coves, fevered arguments that ended in passionate reconciliations, and vows exchanged under the stars that felt as eternal as the tide. Vanessa, with her cascade of auburn waves and eyes like polished emeralds, saw in Joey not the villain, but the wounded boy beneath, the orphan who clawed his way from the slums of Fairmont's undercity to penthouse opulence. "You're my redemption," she whispered to him in episode 14, her fingers tracing the scar on his jaw from a long-ago bar fight. Joey, for his part, softened in her presence, his barbs dulled to affectionate jabs, his empire's machinations paused for moments of genuine vulnerability. It's this evolution that makes their bond so intoxicating. In a world of facades, Vanessa pierces Joey's armor, revealing a man capable of love amid the chaos he sows. Her collapse, should Joey fall, would be cataclysmic, a descent into grief so raw it rivals the great tragic heroines of literature. Envision Vanessa at his bedside in the sterile glow of Fairmont General Hospital, her designer gown rumpled and tear-streaked, clutching his hand as monitors beeped their dirge. The denial would come first, frantic calls to private investigators, accusations hurled at Doug like daggers in a courtroom showdown. "You stole him from me," she'd scream, her voice cracking like fine china underfoot. Then the bargaining, the what-ifs that haunt her sleepless nights. Had she convinced him to leave the casino life sooner, to flee to some sun-drenched villa in Tuscany? Anger would follow, a venomous fury directed inward and outward, perhaps manifesting in a reckless alliance with one of Joey's old flames or a vengeful scheme to dismantle Doug's life brick by brick. And finally, the abyss, Vanessa, once the beacon of hope and beyond the gates, reduced to a hollow shell, wandering the empty halls of the Grand Royale like a ghost, her laughter silenced, her fire dimmed. Fans have already flooded X, formerly Twitter, with fan art depicting this heartbreak, Vanessa cradling Joey's monogrammed cufflinks, rain-slick streets mirroring her tears. It's dramatic, yes, but that's the point. Beyond the Gates doesn't traffic in subtlety when it comes to love's lacerations. Vanessa's unraveling wouldn't just be a subplot, it'd be the emotional core, a mirror held up to every viewer who's ever loved against their better judgment. Yet, the ripples of Joey's death extend far beyond the personal, crashing against the institutional shores of his vast organization like waves against jagged rocks. The Grand Royale isn't merely a business, it's a syndicate, a labyrinthine web of high rollers, crooked cops, and underground operatives that spans from the Crest's velvet rope clubs to shadowy warehouses on the docks. Joey rules it with an iron fist, velvet in charm, loyalty bought with bonuses, dissent quashed with quiet threats whispered over espresso at dawn meetings. His lieutenants, a rogues gallery of hardened enforcers and silver-haired advisors, orbit him like planets around a sun. There's Marco, the Blade, Rossi, the Italian enforcer with a penchant for switchblades and Sicilian vendettas, Elena, Ghost, Vasquez, the hacker extraordinaire who once rerouted federal wiretaps with a few lines of code, and Reginald Thorne, the bespectacled accountant whose ledgers hide more skeletons than a graveyard. Under Joey's command, this machine hums with ruthless efficiency. Laundering money through poker tournaments, smuggling contraband via luxury yachts, and influencing local elections with envelopes stuffed fat with unmarked bills. Eliminate the head, and the body convulses. Without Joey's magnetic authority, fractures would spiderweb through the ranks almost immediately. Picture the power vacuum, Marco, ever the hothead, launching a bloody coup in the casino's sublevels, his loyalty to Joey morphing into a possessive rage that claims at least 2 underlings in a hail of gunfire. Elena, the cerebral one, might go rogue, auctioning off the organization's digital secrets to the highest bidder, perhaps even tipping her hand to federal agents sniffing around Fairmont's corruption. Reginald, the weasel, would slither away with offshore accounts intact, only to resurface as a whistleblower in a bid for immunity, dragging half the Crest's elite down with him. The Grand Royale itself could teeter on bankruptcy's edge, its slots silenced, its tables deserted as whispers of instability drive away the whales. Rival syndicates from neighboring cities, think the brutal Cartel de la Sombra out of San Marcos, would circle like vultures, launching incursions that turn the once glamorous halls into battlegrounds. And let's not forget the legal fallout, indictments raining down like confetti at a funeral, asset freezes crippling the flow of dirty money, and a DA's office salivating over the chance to finally nail the untouchable Armstrong empire. In Beyond the Gates' tradition of serialized intrigue, this dissolution could span an entire season, boardroom betrayals, midnight assassinations, and uneasy truces forged in blood. It'd be The Godfather meets Dynasty, with all the backstabbing flair that keeps us coming back for more. Of course, in the grand theater of speculation, nothing is set in stone. The Beyond the Gates showrunners, those elusive puppeteers who've toyed with our hearts since the pilot's pilot light flickered to life in 2018, love nothing more than a good red herring. Is Joey's death truly on the horizon, or is it a feint to lure us into complacency before Doug meets his own untimely end in a rigged roulette wheel? Perhaps the upcoming death, teased in that cryptic promo clip, the one with the shattered champagne glass and a silhouette tumbling into darkness, is Vanessa herself, her love for Joey driving her to a sacrificial stand against the encroaching chaos. Or maybe it's a curveball entirely, a long-dormant character resurrected from the show's lore, like the vengeful spirit of Elena Hargrove, Doug's missing wife, returning not as a ghost but as a specter with a smoking gun. The possibilities are as endless as the Crest's fog-enshrouded horizons, each one a thread in the tapestry of what-ifs that binds this fandom together. What do you think, fellow devotees? Does Joey's star-crossed fate feel inevitable, a poetic justice for a man who's danced with devils too long? Or is there a sliver of hope? A last-minute heel turn where he fakes his death, vanishing into the ether with Vanessa on his arm, only to resurface seasons hence as a reformed mentor? The forums are ablaze with debate, #SaveJoey trending alongside #JusticeForDoug, fan theories piling up like chips at a winning table. One viral thread posits a multiverse twist, where alternate timelines branch from Joey's survival, each more outlandish than the last. Another dives into symbolic readings, Joey as a modern Icarus, his wings melted by the sun of his own hubris. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain: Beyond the Gates at its best is a mirror to our own tangled lives, reflecting back the thrill of the unknown, the ache of lost love, and the relentless march toward whatever end the fates decree. As we huddle in our binge-watching bunkers, popcorn kernels crunching like bones underfoot, let's savor the anticipation. Joey Armstrong's story, scandals and all, has been a wild ride, a testament to the show's unerring knack for blending glamour with grit. If his death is indeed the pivot point, it'll be a moment etched in soap opera eternity, a dramatic flourish that elevates Beyond the Gates from guilty pleasure to genre-defining epic. So, pour yourself a drink, hold the poison, dim the lights, and join the vigil. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. TV soap news and spoilers for more updates on Beyond the Gates.